Hello the internet and welcome back to my channel. Today I feel a bit like Dave Jones at EV Blog because this is my first dumpster dive. I got this for free in a skip basically, so it's nothing special, appreciate that, but I thought I would just do that on camera. I have no idea whether it works, I have no idea what it is, so let's take a look together. Well, clearly it's an iMac, but I have no idea what this is, so let's take a look. There should be something written around. Aesthetic conditions are okay. I do see something here. I'm not sure whether this is broken or it's been opened. Maybe they just removed the hard drive. I have a similar one, but it's a G5, which is cute machine, but it's more or less unusable these days. I've disassembled it many months ago. I can't remember how to disassemble this one. Let's find the product number and see what this is. Well, it's a model A1208. Internet says this is a Core 2 Duo. Obviously, it's an old machine, but it's an Intel machine, which means, you can probably run Windows 10 on it. And this label here says it's a 2 GHz, 1 GB of RAM, 160 GB of hard drive. Nothing special, but I wasn't expecting anything, to be honest. Now this comes from a skip. I don't care too much about this. It doesn't look like it has like water in it or anything. So I'm not gonna go through my usual, let's be careful just in case. The only thing I've done, I just plugged it into my current limiter just in case there's a massive short or something. But I would say, let's power it up and see if this thing even works. So 3, 2, 1, go. Oh well, it is powering up. Well, it's doing something. Not familiar with this generation of Apples, but the fact... Oh, okay, fair enough. There's a hard drive. I can hear a hard drive ticking in it. Well, the monitor is in one piece, which is unusual, unexpected, I'd say. It's pretty uneven. Oh, there you go. We have it. Oh, we got the Wi-Fi as well. Look at that. It's honestly amazing that people are throwing these things away without, smash it. Remove the hard drive, do something. But we got a calendar here. We got documents here. It's amazing. So we got someone's birthday, December 12th. Right, so this is Mac OS X version 10.6.8, which is no Leopard, which was revealed to the public on June 8th, 2009. Yeah, as expected, this is a 2 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo with 1 GB of DDR2. I should have some extra, maybe, 1 GB is very little. I might be able to upgrade this one. We got a DVD player on it, obviously got Bluetooth. Oh, and this comes with a discrete video card because it's a Radeon X 1600. We got 2 modules of 512 megabytes, and you have one SATA 160 gigabyte hard drive. This is the old private documents of the previous owner. It's just amazing. So I can see the last time the last document was saved, at least in the documents download folder, is December 11, 2013. So this has been probably sitting there for about 10 years. Well, I would say this is kind of, it's nothing special. Shall we take it a look inside and see, we can just give it a clean and hopefully at least I can upgrade definitely the memory, but honestly, I might just keep this thing as a, like a picture frame or something, but I really wouldn't mind having Windows on it, so, I could do something if I really wanted to. Not that you can't do this with OS X, but this is a pretty old system, even though it might be entitled to an upgrade. I had a look online, it looks like this Mac can go up to 10.7, so we can go up a bit. And I've connected it to the internet, we got some updates. I don't know, I'll play with it a little bit and then we'll take a look inside together and see what we can do. Okay, if I understand correctly, the first thing I need to do is to open this access panel here, which happens where the RAM is located apparently. There you go. Okay, so this has been opened before because I can see this aluminium protection is torn. Yes, someone has been here before. You know, you can't really do much here. So they opened it up to here, I think, then they go, no. I don't really know. Now we have to remove the whole display. Let's get to that. Now, thankfully, I have this new kit. Again, I know I had it for free from Kai Wheats, and it's really handy because I didn't have that in my kit, so that would have been a struggle. And then I guess you just spool. There you go. Yes. Ooh. Okay, we got the inverter cable here. So we got the hard drive is there. I'm assuming, no, I think the CPU is here because I can see the heatsink here. That's the DVD player. Got a couple of fans. There's a dedicated fan for the CPU and another fan here for, I guess, everything else. That's the power supply, I'm assuming, because obviously this thing works straight with mains. So that's the power supply, which goes into this, I guess it's a distribution thing. And then we've got power going around. Now, to disassemble this thing, I found the iFix page and, just remove the hard drive and the RAM and everything. It's like easy 10 minutes. To remove the logic board, it's like difficult, 2 to 4 hours. Definitely something I want to try, obviously. Otherwise, where's the fun? So let me start playing with it, see where I'm going. I really struggled removing the DVD drive. iFix indeed mentioned it would not be easy. Obviously, I didn't want to break it, so I was being careful at the beginning, but then realized I needed to use a bit more brute force than I was expecting. I completely agree with iFix's comment here. Apple engineers didn't learn much about deflection and material stiffness when they went to college, so this optical drive is particularly difficult to remove because the bracket flexes too much. The next few steps require some patience and a good amount of force. Well, in the end I managed to set it free without breaking anything, so happy days. Well, it wasn't easy. There's quite a lot of dirt here, and again, I have cleaned it with compressed air. Yeah, I think that's the CPU, which, by the way, it's on a socket, so in theory, it's upgradable. I don't think I have anything, to be honest, for the CPU, but yeah, that's interesting. Would be interesting to know if this could be upgraded to something much better. Now, I'll give a clean to this thing. There's also, there's another fan underneath. Amazing if it fails, this fan is just under everything. I'll clean all the fans, I'll clean everything here. I'd like to remove the thermal paste under the CPU. I'm assuming that under this shield here is a GPU. Capacitors look good. Yeah, let me give it a clean, then we'll remove the heatsink, replace the thermal paste, take a look under this, replace the thermal paste behind the smaller heatsinks, and then we'll move on. Okay, let's remove these heatsink. It's quite big. Okay. Yeah, that's the CPU, Intel 2 GHz. From what I can see online, this is, well, it's definitely one of the few Apple machines without a soldered CPU in place. It can be upgraded. This is a 2 GHz and it can be upgraded to maximum 2.33 GHz, which is Intel T7600 Core Duo. So nothing really is not worth. It's gonna be a 16% speed improvement, totally not worth. Okay, let's see what's under this heatsink, which is really cheap. ATI, so that's our discrete video card. Before AMD purchased it, I guess. Don't remember when they changed the name to AMD, but obviously, yeah, ATI is now AMD. Well, it's been a while. This is cheap. This is very light. For a GPU, dedicated GPU, I don't know, it feels... They made this very nice CPU heatsink. I mean, I appreciate the space is limited here. Still, I feel it would have deserved a better solution, to be honest. But, you know, I'm not an Apple engineer. Anyway, got GPU here, and that's the GPU RAM, I guess. It's interesting, the two are marked with blue and green markers. I wonder what that means. There's another heatsink since we are here, which is using the same horrible clips. I'm assuming it's the north bridge, south bridge. Can't be another CPU, can't be another GPU. So what's hidden behind this? Oh. SL8ZA. Oh yeah, okay, that's the chipset. Perfect, because I saw that one and I thought that was it. But no, again, that's the, I can't remember, that's the north bridge and that's the south bridge, or vice versa. I mean, the heatsink on the chipset is as big as the graphic card. Now let's check the battery. Actually needs one. 2.8 is on the low side. Let's get a new battery as well. This is getting expensive. Yeah, it's kind of on the low side, but it's fine. For this machine, it's fine. Few years of happiness, I guess. Right, now it's the very frustrating task of putting everything back together. Putting the iMac back together wasn't too bad. I struggled again with the DVD connector, and then I realized why. One of the cables, I cannot remember if it was the fan or temperature sensor cable, had been routed incorrectly. That meant that the board was not sitting flush, preventing the DVD connector from aligning properly. But most crucially, that meant that I had to remove the board again to route the cable properly. Well, I'm actually surprised that I had to dismantle everything again only once. Right, I think this is it. Let me say it's not an easy journey, and I'm confident 100% that something is not going to work, and it's going to be like a missing screw at the very bottom of the very last board, the very last cable inside this thing. Now, before putting back the front frame, let's power it up and see if it still works. Well, the good news is I don't have leftover screws. Memory is back in. I don't think it's going to work, but let's give it a go. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow, I got backlight. Is it faster than before? Before it took a while to power up. Well, we got picture, which is good. The hard drive is loading. Okay, we got an error about computer clock, which makes totally sense because I've removed the battery. We've lost all the settings, obviously. Well, it looks happy. So the next step would be to find some memory upgrades because I'm, with 1 gigabyte, I can't really do anything. And then I would like to freshly reinstall this operating system to the latest the system can do. And then I'll see if I can have Windows 10 as well. I have a little box of memory modules. Unfortunately, the bigger modules are DDR3. These are all DDR2. I do have one which is 2 gigabytes, but it's only one. And then I have one which is unnamed. What I can do, the maximum I can do today is either 3, or if this happens to be another 2, could be 4. I'll try this one on its own to see what this is. And then I got this one 2 here. And it's good news. It's a 2 gigabytes module, so I should be able to do 4 with the other one. There we go, 4 gigabytes. That's kind of good for Windows 10 as well. So let me download a new copy of the latest Mac OS 10. That's 10.7 that works on this one. Also Windows 10, and I'll try and install it. I cannot possibly show you the whole process from this point, as it would take hours of video. So I've decided to go with a voiceover instead. We all know that Apple products generally just work. I'm not an Apple person myself, besides loving their more vintage products, and I cannot comment much on modern stuff. But when it comes to unsupported computers, oh well, it does not just work. So the journey starts with upgrading to OS X 10.7 Lion. Back then, Apple was still charging customers to upgrade the operating system, so the Apple Store is not offering 10.7 as an automatic upgrade. Funnily enough, 10.7 is still available for purchase on the Apple Store for $20. But I believe it would be impossible to purchase it from this iMac, as it's running an old Safari, which for security reasons won't be allowed to perform a purchase from the Apple Store. So I had to find the download link somewhere. I'm sure Apple won't mind being a 10 years old operating system. Most of the disk images I could find were updates for 10.6 and would not boot for a fresh install. I did try an updating, but unsurprisingly, I was asked for the user password to continue, so that wasn't a viable option. After a while, I managed to find a full installed copy of 10.7, so I could go ahead, wipe the drive and perform a full reinstall, which went pretty smoothly. Then it was time to install Windows. It's supported by Apple, so it's easy, right? Wrong. Windows 7 was supported on this machine, not 10, so I'll have to start with 7 and then upgrade to 10. Well, not a big deal, the process should be easy, right? Wrong. The bootcamp utility, which allows a dual OS X Windows partition, basically doesn't work anymore, of course. It's trying to download the required drivers from servers which must have been switched off some time ago. Okay, I'll deal with the drivers myself later on. Let's install Windows first. But Bootcamp does not recognize my Windows 7 media and throws out an error message. Well, thankfully, it still allows me to partition the hard drive, which is really needed to continue. Once rebooted, it's time to select my Windows installed media, and here we go! Nowhere. Well, it turns out that this iMac's 32-bit EFI BIOS does not really like 64-bit versions of Windows, so the standard Windows 7 installation disk just doesn't boot up, resulting in this very useful message on screen. After a long search, I found that the solution is to modify the Windows installation package using some line command tool, burn another media, and try again. And after a while, I managed to get Windows 7 on the computer. Yay! However, when I try installing Windows 10, another error message would show up. Lots of googling later, it looks like some updates were missing from Windows 7, which were preventing Windows 10 setup from even starting. I'm sure you all remember how painful Windows Update was in Windows 7. Not cumulative packages, but hundreds of small updates which were updating on top of each other. I ended up installing the Service Pack 1 and also a package I found online to bring Windows 7 closer to present times without having to install 1,000 updates. And after doing that, performing all the remaining updates and also installing the newer version of TLS Secure Protocols. This is a slow computer with the mechanical hard drive, so that went on overnight. Eventually, Windows 10 setup finally started up and I ended up with a fresh copy of Windows 10. Now the treacherous journey to install all the drivers. Apple drivers would have been installed via the Bootcamp additional software feature, which, if you remember, refused to download, so I'm on my own. Many forum pages later, I found a link to a reasonable version of Bootcamp from which I could extract the drivers. They're Windows 7 drivers, but hopefully they'll work. I installed all the drivers, but the video driver did not install. That often happens when you're dealing with mobile chips, as on this machine. Eventually I found the trick. Start the installer, let it extract the files on a known location, let the installer fail, and then manually install the drivers via Windows Device Manager. All good, right? Wrong. I ended up with this horrible graphic issue. And many uninstall, reinstall and tinkering later, I discovered that those ancient drivers just don't really like Windows 10's UI's fancy transparencies. Once that was disabled, I finally had a fully working Windows 10 22H2 iMac. It was painful and totally not worth the time. Well, let me mention this GitHub page I found, which has most of the information I've shared on this video. It was really a lifesaver. And now, back to me. I think it's enough time on that old iMac, which is more or less worthless and more or less useless, as I think it's slower than my mobile. But I totally enjoyed digging into it and see how it's made and refurbishing it and cleaning it. Since I'm not an Apple person myself, but as you can see, I am a fan of some of their products. The way they are engineered, the way they're made and built is marvelous sometimes. So I totally enjoyed my time after that iMac, and I hope you enjoyed that too. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate if you could hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing to this channel if you like what I'm doing here. As usual, thanks for watching. I wish you a great day and I hope to see you soon here on my channel for my next video. For now, thank you very much and goodbye. Bye.